I'm Richard Lloyd-Jones, and this is Thinking with Somebody Else's Head. The Urban Dictionary offers a comprehensive definition of what is a magnetic personality. It's a person with a sense of calm self-confidence and authenticity, they say, who others are drawn to instinctively. There's a lot in that statement. It could be a keen intellect, a personal charm, and highly developed capacity to connect with others, an impressive competence in something. But a magnetic personality does attract us. If we're not too envious, we notice and admire the difference in these people. We also know the deceptions that occur in this personality type. Hitler was said to be very charismatic and attentive when he wanted to be, and psychopaths are often notorious charmers. So there would appear to be some significant other requirements necessary for the magnetic personality in question to be valuable and useful for society. And it's in this area that we must turn to metaphysics if we're to really understand this phenomenon, and perhaps unlock the door to our own nascent magnetism. The human being's magnetic inner life, today on Thinking with Somebody Else's Head. We are, as always, streaming 24/7 on our very own Stop Radio network. You can listen to the stream in a number of ways. Through the site at stopradio.org. We have a player right there on our homepage. And by the way, if you do go there to our site, feel free to leave us a voicemail message. That option is available as well on our stopradio.org homepage. We're also included in iTunes radio stations, the News Talk option there, and the stream is downloadable to your smartphone or tablet through the free TuneIn app. And if you want to listen to us the old-fashioned way through individual programs, you can do that too. Just download Thinking with Somebody Else's Head as a podcast in iTunes Podcasts. So a lot of options there. Lately, Dr. Norberto Keppe has been talking a lot about magnetism. This has been spurred, I believe, by the open-hearted welcome in China and now India for the Keppe motor, a magnetic motor that captures the essential scalar energy from space that makes it, and herein lies the Chinese interest, up to 90% more efficient than the best small motors on the market today. So the Keppe motor is a great innovation that opens the door to a consideration of the energy available for free in the universe that the great Nikola Tesla accessed for his later experiments. And you know what opening that door signifies, right? A consideration of the source of this essential energy, the being Aristotle called the prime mover of the universe. Allah, Jehovah, God, the Great Spirit, whatever you call it, the Keppe motor is reconnecting the human being with the Creator, and that is no small thing. Although it is precisely what Keppe's Science of Analytical Trilogy endeavors to do. Keppe has stated his scientific purpose as one of leading the human being to the goodness for which he was created. That's no small thing, is it? And it's present in any aspect of his work you care to examine. Just pick up any of Keppe's books, and you'll see this stated continually and in many ways. Check out his many TV shows, available as well on our stop.org.br site. You'll also get a strong dose of that high idealism. Of course, I don't suspect the Chinese are looking first to that aspect. They're principally drawn to the efficiency and energy savings potential of the Keppe motor. And that's probably enough for now. But engineer Alex Frascari was telling us that India, that's an entirely different matter. When he went there back in 2009, there was a lot of interest in Keppe's new physics from academics there. One physics professor actually went every day to Alex's new physics booth at a science trade show, desperate to get his hands on Alex's only copy of Keppe's new physics book. Alex finally gave in and gave him the last copy the day he was leaving. So why all this interest in India? Well, the professor apparently was impressed at how Keppe scientifically explains things that were written in the 4,000-year-old Vedic Hindu religious texts. So the seemingly small thing of a new magnetic motor brings a whole universe of new metaphysical knowledge, or perhaps it's better to say it opens the door to forgotten universal wisdom ignored by our materialistic and positivistic Western world. All that to say that magnetism, as Keppe explains it, is much more than a study of iron filings forming around the magnetic field of your store-bought U-shaped magnet. Claudia Bernhardt Pacheco joins us for a fascinating and challenging journey into Keppian metaphysics when we return. The human being's magnetic inner life is coming up on Thinking with Somebody Else's Head.
You're listening to the STOP Radio Network, originating from the International Society of Analytical Trilogy in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Our programs are also affiliated with the Stop the Destruction of the World Association, bringing consciousness of the root causes of human problems since 1992.
The main characteristic of illness is lack of awareness. Norberto Kepi.
Disinverting the human being and society. This is the STOP Radio Network.
A look at society's most pressing problem. Norberto Keppi's Disinversion of Economics is Work and Capital, available in the bookstore at healingthroughconsciousness.com.
Since the beginning of all civilizations, they had always manifested an enormous interest and knowledge about the spiritual life and spiritual beings.
It's a world of ancient wisdom that modern science has eliminated.
The arising philosophy of positivism preferred to base science on material happenings.
So, only what you can see and touch and feel is real.
Now, spirituality is being put back into science.
Imagine what would happen if people start considering this as a real thing. Not only as a religious thing, but also a real scientific thing. Imagine what would happen.
Norberto Keppi's Universe of the Spirits, a scientific analysis, available in the bookstore at stopna.org.
You're listening to the most relevant conversations on the planet about how to stop destroying ourselves and the world. This is the STOP Radio Network.
I'm Richard Lloyd Jones, and you're listening, of course, to Thinking with Somebody Else's Head. Our program originates from the International Society of Analytical Trilogy in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And we've created our own radio station to hold all the programs I've been recording since, 2006, I think. 7 years or so. When I have my discussions with Dr. Claudia Bernhardt Pacheco, which, by the way, are high water marks of my intense weeks down here, and I hope that sense of specialness is tangible to you as you listen, we don't always have a clear idea or clear map of what we're going to talk about. Today's conversation was one of those. Because Claudia is buried deep in her regular psychoanalysis practice and the heightened activity around the Keppi motor, which she also oversees, very busy woman, I'm not even sure sometimes if she's going to make it to our scheduled interview time. Sometimes she just appears here, kind of out of the blue, and I'm not expecting it. And today was one of those times, and when this happens, I just sit her down, position the mic, and start recording with no clear idea where we're going. You don't want to miss a word when Dr. Claudia starts talking. So today, we're going to kind of pick up Claudia in mid-idea. I hope you enjoy.
I got so upset when I heard that the bees are disappearing, vanished. They don't know where they go. This is scary. Maybe this is scary thoughts.
70% of the bees. Eesh, well.
In some areas, 70%. In some areas, 50%. Some areas, 30% of the bees disappearing. I used to buy honey in Minas Gerais, where used to be one of the biggest producers of honeybees, and they export. But last year, from a few years behind, the quantity of bees and honey started to
decrease,
down and down and down from 300 baldes. How do you call this? Containers.
Barrels,
huge.
maybe. Yeah. Barrels, yeah.
Now they didn't make even 20.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's really something scary. And then I entered the internet and put on the Google, honey, bees, etc. And if you look there, you get even more scared.
Yeah.
Because this is all over the planet.
But Geraldo was talking about this when he came here, remember?
I remember, then we forgot.
And we forgot, exactly.
I kind of forgot. Yeah. And then now it came back because I wanted to buy honey, and the guy said, we don't have honey to sell this year because exporters are coming and selling everything, so I have to my customers. I said, what? You don't have honey anymore to sell? And he said, no. And each year it's becoming worse. And you know what happens? If the bees disappear, no pollination,
No, of course.
no fruits, no flowers, no trees, no nothing, no life in the planet. It's really scary. And this morning I was reading about epigenetics and the studies they are carrying lately. And so we see them developing the thesis that Dr. Kepi developed in his book, The New Physics, in 1995. And it's good to see that at least a portion of the population is realizing that virtues or attitudes, they really, really do matter in terms of health and what happens in the planet. You know, Richard, we are a kind of motors or a kind of channeling motors of energy. We should grasp a lot of magnetism and this transcendental energy coming from God, from the universe, which is, it's like it enters our body. We have lots and lots and lots and millions of antennas, small antennas inside our cells.
Antennas inside.
Antennas,
Yeah.
sorry.
To capture.
Yeah. Our neurons are antennas. Our DNA are antennas. Inside of our cells, we have the
Mitochondria.
and we have many bastonettes, all things that work like antennas. Our teeth work like antennas. They're very important. Our nerves, they work like antennas.
Incredible.
And the most frequent kind of energy is the magnetism, right? So we are magnetic beings. We should be.
I actually wanted to talk to you about magnetism because, you know, when we think of magnetism, we think of, you got a funny look on your face. You don't know. Where's
I'm
the
not
engineers?
a physicist.
Where's
I'm
the
not a
Kepi?
physicist.
No, where's the Kepi motor?
Yeah.
Because where's the Kepi motor engineers when we need them? Because
you know where they are?
they're going to China, right?
They're producing new products, like new prototypes.
Yeah. For all sorts of different products.
Now we found a very good industrial arm, and it's a company in China.
Yeah.
And we are producing ceiling fans, table fans,
Exhausters.
And we will produce fans and pumps with solar panels. We will
Pumps with solar panels so they can be accessed where there's no electricity. That's fantastic.
Yes, in Africa, in the Middle East.
Here in the north of Brazil.
Yes, place where the electricity doesn't come. Yes, we are very happy to see that we are putting in practice this.
But let me come back to even though you had that look on your face saying I don't know if I can talk about magnetism. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while because when we think of magnetism, we think of a magnet, and Dr. Kepi has been using the word magnetism to symbolize the essential energy. And so, what's the difference?
Good question.
Yeah.
This is interesting because people think that the magnetism comes from magnets.
Yes, exactly.
Or
comes from the North Pole or something.
They always link energy to something, like to some matter.
Exactly.
A particle, something that has mass.
Yeah, like gravity mass. Comes from the graviton.
Always particles or mass. And so there are the magnetism of the magnets. But magnetism is all over the universe. And it's very much linked to what Kepi calls essential energy. And this magnetism feeds everything in the universe. So, magnetic beings. We are magnetic beings. And we should be much more. Not electric, but magnetic. Electricity is a distortion or a division of magnetism, which is complete, is integral. Yeah. And electricity is a kind of separation of the two vectors of magnetism. So it becomes deformed, it becomes a monster. It becomes dangerous. It becomes dangerous for health.
Because it's taken away from the other
like
part
separated.
Of the component. Yeah, right.
So it's a kind of putting magnetism inside the wires and not being able to control it properly and to misuse it. So this is how Kepi, as I understand, Kepi explained this. But magnetism is so important because it brings the growth of the vegetation, plants, animals, human beings. And we had in the past, in the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century, a lot of experiments between magnetism and health. They treated pain and even mental illnesses with magnets. But now, understanding magnetism and the maximum expression of magnetism, which is the basic energy that brings forward all the other energies and matter as well. So magnetism would be the essence of energy, the essential energy that combined in some vibrations, different vibrations, they form this and that elements.
Now, Kepi does this a lot. He takes words and he redefines them. He did this with the word envy. Many years ago, people thought envy was one thing, and he's making it a much bigger explanation. Is he doing the same with magnetism?
It seems so.
He seems so, right? Because magnetism...
Because it's liberating the concept from this link to matter and mass.
Yes.
Magnetism is beyond, or it's even before mass. It forms mass. It brings life to mass and to us. So people think, oh, what should I eat? What should I do in terms of lifestyle? Should I exercise more or less? Or should I drink this or that? But they never focus really on the very source of magnetism and energy, which is mostly coming from our psychological, our mental, our spiritual, our invisible life, our interior life, which is mostly consciousness, good feelings, good and truthful thoughts. So our mind should be fed by magnetism all the time through right concepts, good feelings, good intentions, good actions, So this would be the very source of energy and magnetism to us. And this is able to go inside the genes and work inside the genes and the cells and make them better and make them heal.
Is magnetism a word for essential energy?
Yeah, we could say it's a synonym.
Yeah, because we have to get away from this concept in physics.
We could say this. I'm not totally 100% sure if we are going to find another kind of energy beyond magnetism.
Right.
But so far, from what we know, magnetism would be the first energy known in space.
Maybe the first manifestation
of energy.
Of this energy would be magnetism, right?
Maybe we could name it as magnetism, or maybe if we would say that God is giving his energy to the